from the moment that it happened, I just lost my job. I just lost everything that I had for because there was no client anymore, and the borders were closed. So I didn't work for 2 years, and in 2 years all my savings were gone, and I had to restart everything back again from scratch, which made it which actually boosted me to not do the same errors that I did the first time, basically.
Today's guest is my dear friend, Billy Chan. Born and raised in Mauritius, he came back to Mauritius after his studies in Australia, and alongside his business partner, Chris, they opened Backlight Studios in 2008. Backlight Studios is an award-winning agency that provides photography and video services for portraits, weddings, resort events, and corporate films. Welcome, Billy.
Hi, Anita. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. And thank you for doing this interview. It's an absolute pleasure. As you know, my background is photography as well. So I thought, why not record an interview with someone that's actually done a photo shoot for me?
Oh, yeah. And thank you for having me.
Oh, it was a beautiful photo shoot. Thank you so much when I was in Mauritius. So we'll talk about that later. So with that in mind, Billy, what is one of the most courageous things that you have done?
Well, already to be on your show is, I think, is a very courageous thing, because I'm usually behind the camera and not in front of the camera. So thank you for challenging me on that.
Absolutely.
So I think the most courageous thing is, I'll tell you this story about how I lost the pictures from a client.
Whoa.
The wedding photo is actually like all of it gone, like 100% gone. So this happened many years ago. I had one of my colleagues who went for this wedding shoot from a couple from South Africa, and so he did the wedding. He shot the wedding. He came back to the office, and he forgot to give me the memory card, and the memory card was lying on the table for about a week. And a week later, I had to go on a shoot, and I was in a rush, so I just picked up the card. I didn't check if it was copied or not, so I just formatted the whole card, and basically went to this other shoot, came back, copied the photos this time, and didn't realize what happened. 3 weeks later, when it was time to actually work on these photos for the client, that we all realized that there was none of it had been copied, and we tried to look on the memory. We tried to retrieve what was on these memory cards, and nothing, all gone. That was for a few weeks we tried to retrieve. We tried to get some other companies. We tried to download some paid softwares, and nothing worked. And the client was getting a bit upset because the time limit for the delivery was already passed. And the client was starting to get angry and was calling us all the time. And so the big challenge for me was to actually be able to call him and explain to him that we lost all of his pictures. And so I came up with a plan that I would propose him two different options as a compensation for what happened. And so the first one was to give him back his money, what he paid for. And the second one was to offer him like a trip to Mauritius again for a few days in a 5-star hotel, and give him a second shoot, which actually worked, because the second he chose the second option, and he decided to come back. I didn't tell you that the client was actually a lawyer.
Okay. That makes it even worse.
That makes it even worse, because he was about to sue us if we didn't propose him anything good in return. So I think that really worked well, because he told me that he invited all his families for like the families from his wife for the wedding, and everybody was complaining that this was not good, that this was not that. And for him, it was the worst wedding holidays that he had.
Oh gosh.
And he was actually very happy to that we offered him this, so he could come back on a real honeymoon this time, and he really enjoyed, and we really had a good photo shoot, and he really enjoyed his time in Mauritius, and it all worked out in the end.
Oh, wow, what a story. Yeah, not only would anybody be devastated, but the fact that he was a lawyer as well makes it even worse.
Mm-hmm. So one recommendation to you, all of you photographers out there or videographers, is to always back up at least 3 times your work, even if you have to have like different locations. Just make sure that you check, like double check, triple check that all the files have been well copied before, because I don't want this to happen to anybody. This would be like the worst. This is the worst nightmare for any photographer out there.
Absolutely, and thank you for saying that. Absolutely. Oh, I'm so glad it worked out well in the end. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good save.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh,
I just wish that this never happens to me again, because I I don't want to deal with these kind of situations.
yeah, absolutely. God, I can't imagine the stress. And it
Hmm.
wasn't just any old photo shoot, it's an actual somebody's wedding.
Exactly, it's a wedding. It's not like something that and they are from South Africa. They're not from here. It's not like you
Yeah,
can just tell them, oh, just come back again and we'll do it again. No, it's when the moment is gone, the moment is gone. You know, you can't get
absolutely.
back that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Yeah.
what took you on a journey of being a photographer? Did you naturally fall into place or was it from a passion?
It's actually been a passion of mine since 17 years, I would say now. When at the time that I was in Australia and I was doing graphic design and multimedia there, I actually fell into photography there, and the passion came from there, and it never stopped. And I don't think it will ever. Maybe I will have some pause in between, but I think it will stay with me till the day I die. I,
Bless. Yeah, absolutely. And tell me more about your work because I've actually had the pleasure of coming out to Mauritius and having a photo shoot with you.
mm-hmm.
I mean, I absolutely loved it. My photographs are phenomenal. Thank you so much, Billy.
Yeah, you're
Absolute
welcome.
pleasure. Yeah. And I'd like to think the same here for me. I'm on the other side of the camera. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm told all the time I'm very photogenic. So I'd like to think I wasn't a difficult client.
Ah, no, no, no. You actually you seem very confident in front of the camera, and you made my life very easy.
Thank you. Yeah, I love my photographs.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely love them. Thank you. So yeah, tell me more about your work. So
Yeah,
I know you're based in
so
Mauritius.
I think being on an island made me a very versatile photographer. I have some specific fields that I think I'm mastered very well. Like for example, interior architectural photography, like portraits of people, like um, co- like right now I'm doing a lot of corporates. I'm doing a lot of video corporates. I think. This is what is good photography and video is like you can transition from field to other field. Like if you get bored of doing one thing, you can just shift over. Like it's just so vast, and there's so many things to learn. And for me, there's still a lot of things to learn. It could be either lighting, it could be like posing people, it could be like working with amateurs, it could be like working with professional models, it could be working in movie industry, it could be anything related to photography and video. Being on an island, like you have to adapt to whatever
Yeah.
work is here, because it's not like you're in Europe and there's more potential, I would say, in terms of job demands. And so
Hmm.
being on an island where there's less people, so you have to accommodate to what is here, and of course you need to make your cash to be able to live. So I think this made me very versatile in a way that I'm always able to make a living out of what I'm doing here.
Absolutely. You must get a lot of trade from people coming in from having weddings, and you've got to be versatile because absolutely everyone is going to be so different. And like you say, it's their wedding day. They want it to be the best day of their life.
Of course.
Yeah. I know you've told me about your story at the beginning, and that was beautiful, and I'm glad it turned out well. What are the challenges you have when doing a photo shoot?
I guess the most challenging part of being a wedding photographer is that you're working with amateur model, with amateurs, and these people have no clue what is photography. They have no clue what is video. They have no clue how to pose. They have no clue about lighting. This makes our job a bit more difficult than let's say if you're shooting with a professional models that already know how to pose, that already know about lighting or about what you're doing behind the camera. So the challenge is always that you, when you meet the client for the first time, you need to make them feel comfortable, and you need
Mm-hmm.
to bring a certain ease, and and make everything flow. And I think this is the biggest challenge of being a wedding
Mm-hmm.
photographer compared to other types of photographies.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's be honest, for the brides and even some grooms, the makeup, the outfits, some people, I'm sure, probably don't even enjoy their wedding day because they want it to be perfect, so perfect,
Hmm.
and they want it to be so that their guests enjoy it. They're worried and stressed out about absolutely everything.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Exactly.
yeah,
Especially when there are all the families present and everything. The good thing
yes,
is in Mauritius already is that a lot of my clients they just come as a couple here.
yeah.
So this makes them a bit more free, that they don't have all the pressures from the family, and then
Mm,
they can let go a little bit, and then they really enjoy the photo shoot part. And usually what they do is that they get married here, and they do the photo shoot, and then they get the photos and the videos, and they go back home and have a nice dinner and invite everybody, and then have everything on a big screen.
So, what is one of the most important lessons you've learned over your life so far? Joking aside, obviously the lesson about make sure you back up all your memory cards.
That will be lesson number one. And lesson number two, I think the big challenge for me was the last few years with the COVID, because my
Yeah.
business has been thriving for the past 15 years, and for me everything was going fine, and I never thought that something like the COVID, which arrived in 2020, would have such a big impact. From the moment that it happened, I just lost my job. I just lost everything that I had for because
Oh.
there was no client anymore, and the borders were closed. So I didn't work for 2 years, and in 2 years all my savings were gone, and I had to restart everything back again from scratch, which made it
Mm.
which actually boosted me to not do the same errors that I did the first time, basically.
Mhm. COVID, I know for everyone, it's absolutely horrendous. But especially, like you say, closing the borders, being on an island and being a place of where tourists, you thrive on your tourist business, I can totally understand. But like you said, at
Mhm.
least you learned how to do things second time around. So that's good.
Yeah, and it was
Definitely.
actually good. I think I needed a break, so I had a two years break, and now I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. I think when you're too much into something, sometimes you really need like this little break. It was a good thing and a bad thing. It was a bad thing, but at the same time, it was a good thing, because it made me rethink about my passion. Made me think about how to make my business work differently, about how to structure
Mm.
everything differently. So in the end, it was a good thing for me. I'm really taking the good side of the COVID and not the bad side of it.
That's brilliant. Yeah. And I think a lot of people do find it was time to reflect. Absolutely. So, Billy, if you could photograph anybody in the world, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh wow. Okay, I never really thought about that question. I guess it would be the Dalai Lama.
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
he's a very inspiring person in this world, and it would be an absolute pleasure, I guess, for me to be able to get some insight from him, and maybe get his photo at the same time.
oh, beautiful. Love that. Excellent. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, what resources do you recommend, tools, daily steps to anyone that wants to start a career in photography?
I think if you want to be an aspiring photographer, these days all the resources are available online. If you really want to be an aspiring photographer, all you need to do is go out there and try to learn as much as you can. And also, just on a daily basis, if you take out your camera anywhere you go, if you find some friends, do some photo shoot, explore every aspect of photography, just enjoy doing it. Definitely, you will get there.
Definitely. Especially this day and age, the equipment doesn't have to be expensive either.
Exactly, everything is
Yeah.
available,
Mm.
and you don't have to have the best equipment. You can you can already explore what you have and make the best out of what you have already, because right now there's so many there's so many brands, and everybody is telling you that this is the best camera and this is the best lens. But if you get into this gear acquisition syndrome, that you just want the best equipment and you just keep on buying and buying and buying, and you just get to nowhere. So just make the best use of what you have in your hand today, and just get out there on the field and shoot. That's all I have to say.
Excellent. Absolutely excellent. So where can the listeners find you online? What's your website, Billy?
Well, the website's still the same, so it's Backlight, www.backlight.mu. Hopefully, in a few months, I will have some new links that I will be able to share to you, and probably we can you'll be able to share that to the viewers.
Thank you for sharing your courageous journey and deep, insightful wisdom and knowledge with us today. And by doing so, you have helped so many others. I really want to acknowledge you for that, Billy, and for having the courage to step outside of your own comfort zone. Thank you.
And thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. So, we are all about Create the Courage to Be Fearless podcast here. So, what is your definition of courage?
I think courage is to be able to push your limit further and further every time. To be courageous doesn't have to be big things. It could be like just tiny little things. Just pushing your health, just pushing yourself a little bit further every time. I think that's already courageous.